The guy that hot doesn't come up with a joke that funny on the spot. It takes a lot of suffering through high school and college to come up with jokes that funny.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to another Dear Shandy Bachelor in Paradise recap, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah, not bad.
We have a lot of paradise to get to, but first, housekeeping. I don't think we have anything new. We're still in Colorado.
Yes.
Where we are still very dry.
The dough.
Mm-hmm. And the one thing I'll say is many of you have asked about the opera I'm in here, and I will link out a little information below in case you're interested and are in the Denver area.
You should come.
Which is
She's
very
good.
sweet. It's always very sweet when people are like, I live here. I'd like to see the opera. I'd like to think that me going on The Bachelor somehow got more people into opera.
Me too.
Wouldn't that be a nice takeaway?
Yeah.
Okay, so
The Bachelor saves opera. Imagine that headline. if like Verity saw that, he was like,
he would roll over in his grave, definitely. Okay.
Who is this Bachelor? He must be very wealthy.
Okay, so do we have any overall thoughts on episodes 8 and 9?
This is decent. This is decent. Like, I was not upset. I fell asleep a couple times. That's because it was late. We were watching it really late.
Yeah. We had to watch this after I had rehearsals, so it was pretty late for us. However, we didn't mind it.
No,
I would
good.
not say quite as scintillating as episodes 6 and 7.
No, but it had
still,
some scent. It was a light scent.
Yeah, a light, late about the scent.
Nice. That's okay.
Disaster.
That's
Okay, let's get going. So episode 8 kicks off with the Lace and Rodney confrontation. This was the big cliffhanger from last week. Andy, you laughed when Rodney saw Lace and was like, how are you? And she was like, good.
Yeah, $1 million. I don't understand that's as you've said before. You've pointed this out. It's an American thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do this in Europe.
No.
Because first of all, no one cares how you are.
Yeah.
And if anything, they kind of want to hear bad news because people are just dicks.
So you think when people ask how someone is, they're secretly hoping things are going terrible for them?
Let's be honest for a second. Let's have some honesty here. Like when you meet an old friend or something, and you're like, how you doing? And they tell you like, oh, my job is great.
Oh, it's so
my
true.
wife is, I love being married.
Yeah.
My kids are all doing great.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right.
Well, they take it as an
tone it down.
opportunity just to start bragging.
Yeah.
And you're like, I was just being nice.
I got to be honest, and I'm not a bad person. Yeah. I genuinely, I like to help people. I don't like people to suffer. I feel a lot of guilt and empathy. But if I gun to my head, I had to choose between meeting someone I haven't seen in a long time, ask them how they're doing, and amazing, and they tell me all the details, or kind of bad, and some bad things happen, I'd choose bad. No one will admit it. Even some people alone will not admit it, but I know I'm right.
It really comes down to the person. Like, how much do you actually like them and wish for the best for them?
For someone who's really close to me, obviously I don't want something bad to happen to them. But if it's some totally random person I like worked with a few years ago, it's just like, okay, great. I'm glad everything's going so well. I just asked you because I wanted you to say good. That's what I want. When everyone says, how are you doing? They want to hear good. That's it.
Or fine.
Fine or good.
Anyway, so Lace's knee-jerk reaction to Rodney's knee-jerk question.
Which is total bullshit.
Yeah,
is
she's
it a
not
lie?
good.
Does it count as a lie?
Yeah.
Is she a liar now? She's forced to give a pleasantry.
Yeah,
good.
good.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah.
She's great.
We've never
Top of the
seen-
morning.
We've never seen less good than in this moment.
Nothing been less good.
So Lace asks if he had a good date. Rodney says he did. She says she doesn't want to settle. She likes him. She wants to get on the same page with him. Rodney says the last day and a half, he's been getting to know Eliza. They had a great time on their date. He doesn't want to hurt her. This is tough. He's sorry. He didn't see it playing out like this. She says she understands and now rises. And you and I were like, this took our breath away because we thought this is where it was going to end.
I was so almost impressed.
It turned out, though, that she did have a few more words to say. She says that she trusted his words. He told her not to worry. She's going to go home now. She starts bawling. And Andy, you said she almost had the classiest exit ever. I was going to be so impressed.
So close.
Still not an unclassy edit.
Not classy is not even the right word.
Yeah.
It's just like a sort of a mess of an ending.
Yeah, well,
it was a clean ending.
Considering
Clean and mature.
what this was being sold as, Hurricane Lace. This was the cliffhanger. Clearly, the producers cast her on the season, hoping for a big hoopla here. She really didn't give them what they were looking for, and I felt oddly proud of Lace.
I was also proud.
When she first came on the beach in episode 1, she said she had done a lot of work on herself, and then she kind of acted kind of strange and did a lot of funny Lace-isms, but it was in this moment. Yes. As the way she took this, she said in the car out, she cried a bit. She said she felt humiliated. But in general, I don't think the powers that be got the reaction out of her that they were hoping they would get.
No.
And I felt like that's the work. We've seen the work she's done on herself in how she carried herself heading out when things didn't go her way. I thought she handled this relatively well, considering.
Very well, considering. Yeah. Yes. It could have been perfect, but it was fine.
Yes. Michael and the other guys come over and hug her while she cries. It does seem sweet how everyone seems to care about her.
She's that sympathetic character. Lace is a good person. I think she's an interesting person. I'd like to be friends with Lace. I think Lace doesn't think enough of herself.
I completely agree with you.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Let's leave it at that.
So we hope for the best for Lace, genuinely.
She doesn't need a man. She just needs Lace.
She don't need no man.
Wait. On.
Want me to speed it up again?
I don't know how they do that.
Okay, so Rodney and Eliza talk now. Nothing much here. He pretty much says that she's where his heart is. She loves this. They embrace. Now, Aaron in his ITM reveals that Lace, when she had been talking to the guys before Rodney returned from his date, had revealed that there are new guys over at the resort where the ladies are. And Aaron's like, that's not good. And so now they wonder if their ladies are forming connections. Cut to Serene showing negative interest in the new guys and just talking about how much she misses Brandon. Cut to Brandon now starting to spiral. We get a flashback to his time on Michelle's season. They love a good flashback.
Yeah, it's like Vietnam. It's literally that's like the equivalent of the Bachelor in Paradise equivalent of him like in the trench. He's like calling in airstrikes. Yeah. There's like gunfire. People are dying.
Oh dear.
But instead it's just Michelle breaking up with him.
Oh, I mean, that was a pretty brutal breakup.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the Bachelor in Paradise equivalent of trench Vietnam. You're overwhelmed. PTSD was what I'm saying.
Okay.
He's got PTSD from that.
He does.
Because otherwise, why is he worried?
I know.
Why is Brandon? Brandon, it's so obvious that this is the relationship.
Yes.
It's so obvious. Serene knows. Serene's not worried.
Yeah.
She threw in a couple like requisite, like, oh, maybe there's something happening. She knows it's not happening.
It does feel like Serene has been less scarred by this franchise than Brandon has. Yeah. And I even wrote, what Brandon doesn't seem to realize is he's one of the chosen few. Brandon says, what's going to happen next? I want to fall in love here. I'm on edge every day. I did think it was funny how he says, I want to fall in love here. I want to fall in love here. I don't want to have to deal with twists.
Yeah.
But he's really getting the long stick. I was going to say the long end of the stick.
He's getting the long stick.
He is getting a long stick. Yeah. I mean, Brandon has nothing to worry about.
He got a short stick in the butt before.
The thumb?
We still haven't fully fleshed that out, but... No,
maybe one day you'll meet him and can ask.
Yeah. So that's the first question. I'm like, nice to meet you. So what's with a finger in the ass?
Tell me about the thumb in the butt. So the next day, Danielle says, Paradise is the best. It's more conducive to relationships working in the real world. So she's laying on a daybed with Michael. Right. I wrote again for the chosen few. Meanwhile, Michael says, I recommend Paradise 6 stars. So more chosen few here acting like they don't know they're the chosen few. Brandon doesn't seem to know yet.
No.
But
Michael knows. It was in his contract. He literally signed a contract that said, you are the chosen few. And he's like, oh, that's good. His lawyer's like, yeah, I like that. Okay.
And the next item in that contract is you must act like you don't know you're one of the chosen few.
Oh, well, that's a given. Of course. That's part of, obviously.
So over at the resort now, the ladies just seem down and unenthused by their new men. Jill in her ITM reads her journal where she calls the guys hot garbage. Ooh. Ouch. The gist is the ladies want to get back to their non-air-conditioned and crab-laden beach. Yeah. And they wonder where Lace is. And on cue, Jesse arrives. He says he comes in peace. And someone, most likely Genevieve, says, you never come in peace. He reveals now that Lace went back to the beach the night before, but Lace discovered that Rodney had developed a stronger relationship with someone new and left.
What?
I wrote, it's so mean to tell them this, but also...
It's also like we would be robbed if you didn't tell them that.
It's true. Serene says that could happen to, like, anyone.
Serene has really drives it home. Not just anyone, like anyone.
The ladies start to melt down here, and Jessie asks Victoria how she's feeling, and she reveals she actually has her eye on Alex. Brittany expresses some interest in Tyler, and there's general interest in Adam, but no specific romantic interest in Adam.
What's going on with that?
Which we don't understand because he's
like,
just so
I feel
gorgeous.
like Adam, like Jesse should be banging Adam at this point. Like, why is he not getting attention? I'd be a hot scene.
I mean,
that
would be quite the pairing.
Yeah, that's real
like
that's like caveman style.
Jesse asks if there's any interest in either Rick or Olu, and the ladies are like, nah.
Something happened there.
I just feel like we missed something.
I have a theory, and it's not. This is not like it's not like a theory about like quantum mechanics merging with macro. It's that they came with a huge chip on their shoulder. They're like, oh, we're rolling in late. Like, there's going to be women just savaging
Is that
us.
to have a chip on your shoulder? I think to have a chip on your shoulder is the opposite. You walk in and you're like, I have something to prove. Well,
okay. Maybe they so I got the order wrong.
Okay.
First they walked in thinking they were, it was going to be jungle.
Easy. And then they developed.
You're right. Thank you for clarifying.
Oh.
I've never quite understood what a chip on the shoulder means. I think now
I
do.
I know the gist, but I don't really know what it means.
Oh, I get what it means,
yeah.
but I've never realized that it means, I had a little, there's a slight tweak that needed.
Now the Shandies are going to tell us the origins of the chip on the shoulder.
Which is great. This is why we do the podcast.
Yeah.
I do this podcast for learning, for education. Crowdsourced education.
Yeah, it's true.
That's my Trojan horse.
It's incredible how you'll get a Shandy who's like, well, actually, I'm a so-and-so professor, and
we have everyone. There's no one. There is not a single. As I said, I asked before how to make a nuclear bomb, and I know that's on the internet. So I bet there was some Shandy who was like, I know how to make a nuclear bomb, but it's on the internet. I'm not going to tell you. That's embarrassing. There's nothing they don't know. There's no question we can ask that they don't know.
My favorite ever was the one about the Louboutin red heel. And you were like, do they have exclusivity to that? Like, can they sue another brand if they have the red
someone
sole?
knew.
And someone was like, well, actually, I'm a lawyer, and this was a case that we studied.
Yeah, I have a question. This is totally unrelated. I know where we were. I'm going to get back to it.
Okay.
I want to know, does any Shandy know, is familiar with string theory? And within string theory, there has to be something smaller than a string. I can't live with the fact that a string is the smallest thing. So what's the breakdown of an actual string? Go. Okay. Anyway, Olu and Rick.
Oh, that was so cute. That had nothing to do with anything. And it shows that it's just something that bothers
It's been bothering me. I have an issue with the end. Like I have an issue with the tiniest thing, but there can't be a tiniest thing and there can't be a biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's all just infinite both directions. And I want to know, like, what is there a tiniest thing? If there's a tiniest thing, that breaks down a lot of, like, I have issues with that.
Okay, so getting back to Rick and Olu and the chip on the shoulder, you think they came in and they were like, I've got this.
Oh, they rolled in expecting like a king's entrance. Like literally like people with trumpets, a red carpet, just naked women like jumping on top of them. And they
feeding them grapes.
Grapes. There's always grapes. Do you think that happened? I honestly don't even think that ever happened. I don't think a woman ever fed a king grapes. I think that's a total trope.
Well, the thing is, I don't have an issue with just putting a grape in my own mouth. I would rather put a grape in my mouth than have someone feed me grapes.
I want to pick the grape.
I would
like
be
if
okay
I'm holding a thing of grapes, I think there's some grapes I don't want. I pick the grape.
I want to feel a grape before I eat it.
I want to feel it before I eat it.
The firmness matters.
I want to be in control of grape eating.
Yeah, and actually
no matter how powerful I am.
There are other foods that I would be okay with being fed, but grapes is not one of them.
I agree.
Wow, we are tangenty today. Okay, so let's go back.
Yeah.
Olu and Rick, they expected a king's entrance.
I think that they came expecting that.
Yeah.
And they got nothing.
Yeah, less than nothing.
Less than nothing. And they were just, there was some engagement, some exchange that we weren't shown that was kind of like a little icky, where I think they showed their disdain for the situation.
Yeah.
And it was bad. And the women were like, okay, bye, done.
I think we even got a hint of that last week. We made fun of Rick for being like, hey, Genevieve, the water's great.
Yeah, I mean.
But there was a moment after where Rick joked, like he basically mocked her by being like, Aaron's over here.
Right, yeah.
Like as though he
was spiteful.
Yes.
He was pissed off.
But I can imagine if I were Genevieve and I were missing Aaron, then he kind of made fun of that like that. I'd be, I would be like, fuck you. So anyway, it did feel almost contentious. I'm very curious. I do feel like we were robbed of this.
Yeah.
So Jesse goes to the guys now and sends Rick and Olu home. Andy, you seemed to find this hilarious, how he pretty much went and was like, you three stay, you two go.
Jesse, no host has ever done that. No host has ever sent people home before. This is a first. I mean, it was that bad that he's like, we're not even going road ceremony. This is like, you just go. Enough to have your last shrimp, have your last drink, get the hell out of here.
Okay, now there's a very forced 3-man chat where Alex says he's excited to pursue things with Victoria. I do wish we'd gotten a little more of the early stage flirtation between Alex and Victoria, because I'm not going to lie, I'm very invested in this. We see Victoria and her ITM cry now because she feels like she's kind of sort of cheating on Johnny.
No, I mean, actually, scientifically, exactly kind of sort of cheating.
So back at the beach now, Logan and Johnny chat. Logan reveals that Kate, who, let's remember, is shacked up with Jacob at this point, has expressed interest in him. We get a flashback now where he tells Kate that he also feels it, and they laugh about how messy it all is. Andy, you said Kate really came to stir up shit.
Oof.
Yeah, Kate is here to play.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like she has a chip on her shoulder after maybe how soon she left in Clayton season. I remember being shocked when Kate went home. Kate was one of the best dressed. She was so smart, so cool, so funny.
Clayton just has bad taste.
I don't know about that. I think Susie's pretty great. But
yeah, but Susie, like I predicted Susie was going to win when I saw the season cast.
Yeah, that's true.
It has nothing to do with taste.
But Kate was a classic case of like, wow, how did she only go home in episode 2 or whatever? And here she also felt the same way because she came to play. Mm-hmm. So to Johnny now, Logan says that he wants to pursue that, and Johnny calls it Geometry Beach.
I would call it Calculus Beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because geometry is too exact. I would say it's more like curvatures.
The big problem here is that Sarah and Kate are friends. They really emphasize this. And this is where I do think there's some so-so storytelling in this episode. This is why I think it's like, okay, the episodes 1 through 5 were edited by the C team. Episodes 6 and 7 were edited by the A team. And now it's like B team. Because there's some not really fleshed out storylines here.
Well, anytime they have to do flashbacks, there's an issue. Like, why are we flashing back? Why not just show it?
You're making a great point. Okay, the big problem here is Sarah and Kate are friends. This doesn't come to any kind of fruition, really. We just get the gist that Sarah feels slightly betrayed by Kate.
I don't know if Sarah and Kate are like friends. I think they're like Bachelor in Paradise friends.
Yeah, I don't think
they're really.
I don't picture Sarah and Kate being friends.
I don't think Kate's the kind of person who would do that to a real friend.
Yeah, and I don't picture Kate being friends with Sarah.
I also don't, and that's saying, yeah, all right, well.
Okay, but you and I here said that we could actually see Logan and Kate working, and this is before we even saw them interact. And now we see them interact because Kate and Logan talk. He says he wants her. She says good. They talk about how complicated it all is. And hilariously now Jacob comes by and kisses Kate right in front of Logan, not really catching on to the sexual
Jacob.
tension.
Sweet Jacob.
He is sweet.
He's innocent. He would never think that his friend would do that.
To me, it's so obvious that Kate and Logan should have 5 minutes into a conversation with each other, just pursued each other.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like, that's how I feel. I don't know what it would be like to go on to Paradise, tragically. It is funny to imagine me in Paradise, but I do think that I would know who I'm into within 5 minutes of talking to someone there.
Absolutely.
And I think you would play the field.
Oh, definitely.
We know each other at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michael finds a date card now, and of course it's for Kate. She asks to talk to Jacob now. Andy, you really wish that she had just read the date card and said, Logan.
And if I was Jacob, I'd be like, no, I'm not doing the talk.
Oh, really?
Just read the name. I'm not doing it. Because what do you think? What did Jacob think that talk was going to be about?
Okay, so Kate and Jacob chat now. She does a full-on textbook bullshit sandwich, which we talk about a lot in our Q&As, really.
Yeah. Oh, it was nice. It was like a Stage Deli bullshit sandwich. For people who are familiar, Stage Deli. I think it closed, actually. It's very sad. Legendary New York deli. I mean, it's like the most famous deli in all of New York.
I've never even heard of it.
Are you joking?
Stage Deli?
The Stage Deli? Carnegie Deli? Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Well, it's right next door.
So it's like less famous than Carnegie Deli.
No, it's equally famous. It's more, Stage is a little more famous than Carnegie.
Well, is it still around?
No, I think it's gone.
Well,
all right. Point
couldn't
made.
have been that good. Carnegie Deli is still there.
Good point.
Kate tells Jacob that she likes him so much. He's so great. She loves his energy. He's so sunny. She wants to be forthcoming, though. And now we get the
Yeah, that pastrami, that thick.
Yeah, the
it's
thick
like
pastrami in the
6
middle.
inches of pastrami with like a sauerkraut and like a Russian dressing.
But last night, she felt that there was a stronger connection with someone else. And Jacob in his ITM says that he loves Logan, but it still stings. And he, in general, takes this unbelievably well, gives his blessing and gives her a hug, and that's it.
Let me tell you something.
Jacob, he's a sweetheart.
I'm going to tell you this right now. And I don't feel conflicted enough to feel uncomfortable saying this.
Wow. Oh my God. That was, you took my double
ever.
negatives to another level just now.
Yeah, I barely made it through that.
It was really unnecessary, but
it wasn't, totally unnecessary. But I feel that of all the contestants I've ever seen in Bachelor Nation, the trajectory of Jacob for me has been the most straight up. Is that the best way of saying that?
Yeah, no, you went from being indifferent to Thomas to loving Thomas, but it was more based on how wronged he was.
It was one day I was indifferent. The next day we were married.
Yeah.
But with Jacob, I was just like, oh, this guy's a joke. He's annoying. And the way he treated Gabby, it was just like, I was disgusted with him. And now I think he's lovely.
Yes.
Lovely, a sensitive, warm, intelligent.
Gives people the benefit of the doubt, it feels like.
Humorous.
Yes.
Just like wholesome. Like, I feel like this is a good guy.
Yeah.
I'm
this
into
is a good
Jacob.
redemption story because otherwise he would have just left after telling Gabby, oh, you're still hot though.
I always say, and I stand by it, paradise is where villains become heroes and heroes become villains.
Okay. Such an expert now.
Yeah, I mean, I am I not? I mean, if I'm not an expert, who is? If I've been doing this for this long and I'm not an expert, I'm offended.
I think it's funny that you're talking about how long you've been doing this to me.
That's like a guy, to take the Vietnam analogy further. It's like a guy who just drafted, just jumps in the trench. He's like, so what do we got here? We shoot those guys over there, and the guy's literally, he's got like 1,000-yard stare. He's just like got his like grenade launcher. He's like,
I'm that guy.
Yeah, you're that guy.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now, by the way.
Oh, really?
Great scene where Martin Sheen, Charlie Sheen's father, goes into a trench. He's like, he's still kind of a newbie, but he's been through it. But then there are these 3 guys just sitting in the trench, and there's like huge fire coming in. Like, it's like they're under, it's like bad situation.
Okay.
And this guy is just sitting there, and he's like literally like high, he's just smoking joint. He's just like sitting there. He's like nothing. It's like the way you'd be sitting on your couch when you're about to fall asleep at night after having like Chick-fil-A or something.
Okay.
And he's just like casually picks up a grenade launcher, puts it on his shoulder, and like shoots a grenade, and you just hear, and it blows up. And it clearly kills the people who are firing at them. And then he just puts it down and sits back down. Like, his expression never changes.
Ooh, that's chilling. That's me. Yeah, I've been recapping for too long. Okay, so Jacob and Kate returned to the group. I thought it was a little cruel that they made Jacob sit here for her to say Logan's name.
I thought that was cruel too. The whole thing was cruel.
Yeah.
Poor Jacob.
Sarah does not look thrilled with this. And now Logan asks to talk to Sarah, and he asks to hold her hand. And she's like, okay.
I got to be honest. I wouldn't let him hold my hand either. I don't like that. I don't
like a forced handhold.
That false intimacy before a shit sandwich.
Oh, I agree.
I don't want any part. Don't hug me. Don't touch me. I just want to hear it. Give me the news and let me walk away in peace.
He reveals Kate pulled him aside for a conversation and they discovered there was something there. Meanwhile, Sarah is smiling tensely the whole time and cracking her knuckles. I do think they were reusing this footage of her cracking her knuckles and
sound,
amplifying the sound. But nonetheless, she is not taking this super well. Her focus is definitely on the humiliation of it all.
Yeah.
It reminded me a bit of Rachel Recchia, Bachelorette Rachel. It didn't really feel like she was so sad to have lost Logan. She felt embarrassed.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Paradise is that.
Yeah, fair. Well, Andy, we record this in the morning, which means that lunch is still on the horizon for us. But isn't it so nice that we know exactly what we'll be eating? And by the way, this is a really quick one. This one takes 10 minutes total. It comes in a handy dandy bag from HelloFresh delivered directly to our door.
Isn't this nice? It's our lunch bag.
Yes, exactly.
It reminds you of the old days.
Yeah, totally. And it's step-by-step ingredients and directions. And let me tell you, this is game-changing, especially since right now we are in Colorado. So we are on the road. We have a full kitchen, we have a fridge, but it would really suck to have to go and buy every individual ingredient. And HelloFresh delivers everything you need, no more, no less. So there's very little food waste.
And it's a cooking lesson in a bag.
It is. And it's also just way cheaper than buying groceries.
When you're at home, you know where to run to get stuff.
Yes.
But we don't know where to go.
Yeah, we're a little helpless. There's just a 7-Eleven across the street.
It's not a great
We're
place
not getting
to
our
shop
lunch.
for a freshly cooked lunch.
Yeah. So go to HelloFresh.com/Shandy65. That's Shandy65 and enter promo code Shandy65 to get 65% off plus free shipping.
That's HelloFresh.com/Shandy65 and use code Shandy65 for 65% off plus free shipping.
So Andy, we are on the road right now, which means a whole new selection of restaurants and shops and sights to see and things to do. But before we would do any of that, what's the first thing we would do?
Gotta look at reviews.
Yes, you and I are actually huge review people.
Yeah.
Even though we don't typically leave reviews ourselves, we're like silent sleuthers of reviews, but we literally won't go to a restaurant if it doesn't have at least 4 stars.
It has to. And as a matter of fact, when we come to a new town, we estimate whether or not they're a half star above or below the New York average.
This is true. We actually do this. So we'll come and be like, oh, it's 4.5 stars, but this was like a 4-star restaurant to us. And so we're like, okay, so everything here is inflated by half a star. This is actually something we do. But my point in mentioning all this is to say, why would you not look up reviews for your doctor? You want to know that they are getting good reviews from other patients like yourself, and that they're reliable and they're qualified, and that, they're just good at what they do.
Yeah. Like, would you care more about whether the service was decent or average or above average in a restaurant, or whether a doctor cured your problem?
Yeah, it's actually really funny how you and I in particular will obsess over which restaurant to eat at that night. But then with a doctor, ever since ZocDoc came along, that's when I've really been like, oh, wait, I should be paying attention to what other patients are saying. And actually, there was a doctor that I went to on ZocDoc who wasn't really highly rated, but she was nearby. And I was like, well, it's convenient. She takes my insurance. And I ignored the reviews. That was a bad call. They were all exactly right.
All exactly right.
Yeah.
They always are. Crowds are right.
Yes.
Individuals might be wrong.
Crowdsourcing works. And we're not even talking about how useful it is to search for a doctor within ZocDoc, because you can filter not only by location and reviews, but by whether or not they take your insurance, which is huge because that means you don't have to call the office to ask if they take it.
You don't have to talk to a human ever.
Who wants to do that?
No one does. Go to ZocDoc.com/Shandy and download the ZocDoc app for free.
Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours.
That's ZocDoc.com/Shandy.
ZocDoc.com/Shandy. Okay, so meanwhile at the resort, Shanae's at the bar with Genevieve, and Shanae's butt was black boxed here. And Andy, you said, really? I'm an adult. This is basically the two of them getting wasted and bonding and being ridiculous. And we thought this was mildly amusing.
Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It is sort of funny how they're now best friends. Yeah. Okay, so getting ready for her date, Kate talks about how into Logan she is. She says, quote, is the Pope Catholic? Does Dolly Parton sleep on her back? Does a one-legged duck swim in a circle? Andy, you really enjoyed all of these.
I did, because I only am familiar with does a bear shit in the woods and is the Pope Catholic. But these are 2 new ones for me. And it's been, I've been alive for a long time and I've never heard these.
Yeah.
My one issue is too many syllables. I would have liked the does a one-legged duck swim in a circle to have like 2 less syllables, but I'm good with it. I'm gonna be using that.
Logan and Kate head off on their date now. Meanwhile, Sarah says she feels lied to and deceived. There's a bit of her considering Jacob, but this wasn't really fleshed out. And now we see Jacob meditating, and in his voiceover, we hear him claim that he can breathe underwater. Did I write that wrong, or did he claim that?
He did say that, and I know you cannot breathe underwater. Let's just clear the air. But I have read about this, there are deep sea free divers who do this thing where they like sort of swallow air.
Okay.
Which is, I don't understand any of this.
Okay.
And they literally stay down. They go down like 300, 400 feet, even more. I've heard. I think the record is like something insane. It's like 700 feet. Okay. Which is where it's literally so deep that the water is pitch black. Like think about that. How insane is that?
That
without oxygen, diving down to where there's no sunlight. There's nothing more terrifying to me. Nothing. But anyway,
deep water though, deep dark water is terrifying.
Even
to me.
Shallow ocean, anything ocean is scary. That's why I like the ocean. It's like a roller coaster ride. A pool is like, who needs a pool? A pool's like a big bathtub. I don't even like bathing. I don't like taking a bath.
Okay.
But my point is that I think that some of these free divers have this sort of thing where they have air that they've swallowed that they can kind of manipulate.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's some crazy things. But Jacob can't do that. He's bullshitting. But he's a good guy. It's nothing. This doesn't take anything away from him.
So he goes and hangs out with Andrew and Sarah and Brandon, and Andrew openly says that the two of them are in the same boat. But once again, the storytelling, we never really see Sarah and Jacob establish anything beyond just sort of bonding over being heartbroken. Yeah. Okay, so Kate and Logan date now. She exfoliates his back. They have excellent high-level banter here.
This is what we want to see.
Well, often when we're watching, there's a lot of me just sort of pan-faced taking notes and you making these digs.
Yeah.
But during this date, you and I were just like...
Yeah, it was hot.
We were completely wrapped.
I had my bass ready. It was plugged in. I was ready. I was like,
Logan in his ITM says this is the biggest flame he's felt. And at the resort now, Genevieve prays to baby Jesus that it rains and ruins everything down at the beach. It does indeed rain. Hilarious comment from Victoria now, because Genevieve reports back that they prayed to baby Jesus and it worked. And she said, oh yeah, older Jesus doesn't care. He's too old at 33. It was
funny.
Very funny. Victoria's funny.
Yeah, Victoria's good.
Yeah. This is another redemption story. Another villain to hero. Wow, you're right.
Name, okay, let's do this. I'm going to put this to the next level. Name a villain who hasn't become a hero on Paradise and name a hero who hasn't become a villain on Paradise. Wait, that was bad. Somehow that didn't come out
Nailed
the way it should. Yeah, it wasn't very poetic, but you get my point. Name one. Name one.
A villain who did not become a hero?
And a hero who did not become a villain. There's
many heroes who didn't become villains.
There's a couple of heroes who didn't become villains. You're right. Yeah. I take that. Name a villain who didn't become a hero. That's my point.
I don't predict Hayden, who seems to come based on the previous.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. That would be amazing if Hayden became a hero. If Hayden becomes a hero, I am declaring that this will be the biggest I told you so of all time.
From me?
From everybody.
Wait, against you saying that every villain becomes a hero?
I don't know if I told you so is an interesting thing, because I don't know if you deserve it. I told you so when no one's technically disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
But regardless, if Hayden becomes a hero, let's just say now that my point is 100% solid gold proven.
All right. I'm down with that. But if Hayden does not become a hero, I get it. And I told you so.
I don't think so. I think it's just
provided him as an example.
It's a jury's out situation.
Okay. All right. So back on the date now, Logan and Kate toast to her shooting her shot. They have some more cute banter and they kiss. It's pretty magical. Not going to lie. Logan in his ITM says it's clear he wants to give himself to Kate moving forward. It's such a deep connection so early on. He's all in. It's actually endearing.
It's really endearing.
Yeah, because Logan's been kind of like unsure.
Yeah, he finally found his home.
You know, in a weird way, it was a sort of microcosm for men in general when they find someone they really, really, really like. Because he likes Shanae.
Well, it's like that thing, like you're trying to get that metal ball in the little divot in the hole, that game.
Yes.
What's that game? What is that game?
I forget, but there's a lot of those in Survivor, and I'm really bad
at
them.
And then like it's rolling, and you're like, it goes in and out, and you're like, oh, that was close.
Yeah.
And then it hits, and you're like, oh, there it is. That's where it belongs.
Good one, Andy. I liked that. Back at the beach, Michael, Brandon, and Johnny talk, and the focus is definitely on Johnny and how much he misses Victoria. He's confident in her. He's set on her. He says when the other girls walked in, he was like, no way am I budging. Good foreshadowing there. At the resort, Alex and Victoria chat. She thanks him for being patient. In her ITM, she says he's who she would date normally.
I agree with that 100%.
Oh my God, the two of them together? Oh my God. She says when he scratched her head, it was one of the only times in the entire Paradise experience that she felt truly comfortable. And now there's a grade A flashback to him out of the blue, just reaching down and rubbing her head out of nowhere. And you and I laughed really hard because this was 100% me.
Oh my God. If anyone wants to sleep with my wife, just scratch her head. Seriously. That's all it takes.
I love a good head scratch. I remember in our early dating days, you would rub my head and I was like, okay, I'll marry him.
And every fight we have, if I really, I feel ashamed to pull it out, but if we're having a bad fight and I see no way to get out of it with words, I just scratch your head and it's like,
Yeah. Alex says, quote, "It's the moments between the moments that make the difference." And Victoria in her ITM says that Alex is 33 and on a more similar life trajectory.
I agree.
Okay, Genevieve finds a date card now. Obviously, it's for Victoria. Victoria asks Alex, and he carries her off. And we marveled at just how ridiculously good looking a couple they are. Andy, you said they're a real LA couple.
LA couple. That's my couple.
Isn't that funny? We're like a New York couple. That's an LA couple.
Are we in New York? Oh, we totally are.
We're a New York couple.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
we're not an LA couple.
No, when I look at a couple like that, I'm like, oh, that's an LA couple.
So LA.
Blinding.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alex and Victoria are now on their date. He says he's elated to be there in her company. She says she came into this super open to anything. And she says that when she got to the beach, she didn't expect to find someone, but she did. And she's generally a one-guy girl. She says he's the kind of guy she normally dates. And because of that, she didn't want to touch him with a 10-foot pole. Yeah. And he asks now if she, quote, facially profiled him, which I thought was hilarious. Yeah. I was impressed with this joke. Good. But Andy, you thought the joke was so good that you refused to believe that Alex made it up. Facially profiled.
Yeah, I don't think
Is that a joke we just haven't heard?
Alex has got that in his bag. Yeah.
I
think he heard that somewhere else.
Such a dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, he doesn't seem dumb.
No, he doesn't seem dumb, but I don't think he came up with that on the spot.
I will say I don't get funny from Alex.
I don't get that either. A guy that hot doesn't come up with a joke that funny on the spot. It takes a lot of suffering through high school and college to come up with jokes that funny.
Maybe he's an ugly duckling in high school.
Let me tell you something. Alex, never ugly. Alex, good-looking baby, good-looking adolescent, awkward phase, good-looking, college, good-looking, never been ugly. Never.
Okay. Alex asks what the final straw was. She said it was when he rubbed her head. I wrote, I understand this. And there was an unspokenness to this, which I appreciated. Yeah. It was almost like he felt that it would be accepted and welcomed, and she would be into it.
Yeah.
It's funny to imagine if she weren't into it, she'd be like, get your hand off my head.
Oh, yeah. A head is an intimate place.
It is.
You don't touch someone's head without like a real, understanding.
100%. Once in a while when someone... if you're out and someone like just touches you in a place, it's not like touching someone's boob or someone's butt. But if someone touches your head, I'm kind of like,
where I learned this lesson? I learned this lesson is this is a story.
I'll get comfortable.
So one of my very, very close friends, Dove,
yes,
who's a comedian.
Mm-hmm. And who we've had on the podcast. I'll link it here.
Link it. Yeah. So anyway, this was back almost 20 years ago. So maybe, let's call it 15 years ago.
Okay.
He was a comedian at the Comedy Cellar, and David Lee Roth, who was the lead singer of Van Halen, used to come to the Comedy Cellar all the time.
Okay.
Just random. And he loved Dove. And Dove happened to he owned a building that he bought, was like 23 years old. Him and his brother took all the money they had and they bought this tenement in the Lower East Side.
Oh, that's such a good investment.
Oh my God, let's not even talk about it. But David Lee Roth's like, I'm doing this, I'm taking over for Howard Stern for the, the Howard Stern show on the radio. Because Howard Stern went to Sirius. And so David Lee Roth needed a place to stay in the city. He's like, hey, man, he's like, I got a place. Dove's like, I got a place. My upper floor is vacant. So David Lee Roth moved in, and I used to go to hang out with Dove, and David Lee Roth would just come down and hang out with us all the time. It was insane. So I spent David Lee Roth's 50th birthday. It was just the three of us, me, Dove, and David Lee Roth, just hanging out on his deck. That was David Lee Roth's 50th birthday. It's unbelievable. It's one of the greatest moments of my life.
Okay.
And I was a big Van Halen fan.
Okay. And what's the relevance here?
So like 2 years later, and we actually hung out separately. Like I actually went to get a drink with David Lee Roth. It was insane. It was the greatest celebrity story of my whole life.
Okay.
So a couple of years later, I'm walking down the street and I'm with some girl I start dating. And I see David Lee Roth sitting on a stoop with some guy.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, there he is. I know David. I mean, we hung out. We had drinks together. So I go up to him and I grab his head.
This seems like a terrible call.
Such a bad call. I don't know what I was thinking. I just got carried away with myself. I literally just like ruffled up his hair. It's like, hey, David Lee Roth. And he flipped out. And he's like trained. He's like a black belt in like karate. He's like all into martial arts. He like fully got up. He's like taking a karate stance. And I was like, you remember me, Dove's friend? He's like, oh, yeah, okay. And he sits back down. To this day,
oh my God,
I am so upset about that. Why didn't I just go up and be like, hey, Dave, it's me, remember? Why did I have to touch his head? The touching of the head.
It's very intimate.
Was so upsetting.
And he's famous. You have to be careful when someone's famous. You can't just go up to a famous person.
Yeah, people try to kill people like that. They just like stalkers.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest regrets of my life. Yeah, we don't talk anymore.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
That's the head touch gone wrong.
I think if I hadn't done that, if I had given a more normal introduction, maybe me and Dave would be having Thanksgiving dinner together.
Oh, that's so sad. Yeah. I don't blame him.
I don't blame it at all. As a matter of fact, I would have gone further. I would have punched me in the face.
Okay. All right. So the lesson of the story is don't touch people's heads.
Yeah, don't. Bad call.
Okay, so back at the beach, Johnny says that he's never felt about anyone the way he feels about Victoria, but he says, quote, I'm younger and she's getting older.
Oh, Jesus. Nice call.
Andy, you said that's such a young thing to say. The gist here is that Johnny would consider a proposal. He is so wild about Victoria. He says he's had one serious relationship ever and it never felt like this. He says something about Victoria makes him want to be a better person. Mm-hmm. And Andy, you said, I knew Johnny would get outplayed by Victoria.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan. You may be great, but there's always someone better.
Back on the date, Victoria says she's excited about Alex. Andy, you said he's a better match for her. Mm-hmm. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to go down, but you and I talked here about how much more mature Alex feels.
Yeah.
Andy, you said, yeah, Johnny's like the coolest college kid in town.
Yeah.
Victoria says she's mentioned wanting 5 kids, and Alex is very much on the same page, and he asks a blunt question, does he have a chance? She says her relationship with Johnny is great, but she has her concerns, and he says he knows she wants to keep exploring that, but he has explored enough to know something special when he sees it. Yeah. And she's like, oh. And he wants to pursue her and only her, and in her ITM, Victoria cries some more about guilt. And she calls Alex, quote, every girl's dream. So Brittany and Tyler now chat. I can't even talk about this without laughing. Well, the Victoria Alex thing I was really on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
I was really enjoying.
It felt very mature. It felt like an actual thing. It felt sort of like the Logan Kate.
Yes, watching Logan and Kate, I was totally into their banter, and I was into the tension with Victoria and Alex.
You know what this says? People, well, I'm assuming we're people. I don't know. Are we people?
Why aren't we people?
I'm seeing most people.
Where are you going with this?
I think people want to see mature relationships.
Yeah.
Is that not what they want to see?
Well, and that's why I'm always like, can we please have a bachelor who's over 30?
Yes. And that's the thing, Johnny, and no disrespect to Johnny. Johnny's the man. Yeah. But he's the man for college.
I don't know if Johnny's the man. He's just likable. But
I'm saying, as far as he's like basically, Matthew McConaughey in
10 Things I Hate About You.
No.
It's the only thing I can.
I haven't even seen that movie. It's the one with the 70s or the high school.
Dazed and Confused.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that just came out of me.
Good job. Yeah, he's like the cool guy, the hometown guy. Yeah. He's cool.
But isn't Matthew McConaughey in that show? Like, isn't he older? Like, he's been held back a year or two?
That's true. The analogy doesn't hold up that well. But my point is that Johnny is cool. He's very cool, but he's not a full man yet.
Well, and
I want to see men and women.
Yes.
That's what I want to see on the show. I don't want to see boys and girls.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so Brittany and Tyler chat, speaking of girls and boys. And he is generally effusive about how much he wants to get to know her. Andy, you said, I don't get it with this guy. He doesn't say anything. He just echoes what others are saying.
With his 6-pack, that's all he has to do.
I think you're mistaken, Andy. It's an 8-pack.
I'm sorry, you're right.
That extra 2 abs really matters.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
Oh, I was so heartwarmed. My heart was warmed by how many people agreed with me on abs.
Yeah.
Because it says something about what that person's spending all their time doing.
I completely agree. Would you rather have someone trying to, eliminate plastic from the ocean or getting those 2 extra abs? That's assuming that I'm eliminating plastic from the ocean. But I also don't have an 8-pack, so
it's important that you differentiate between the 6 and 8 abs that Tyler has.
Yeah, big difference.
He's got all 8.
6, like
he's
most people can get 6. No one can get 8. 8 is like you're really pushing it.
You've got 4.
I've got a solid 4.
You got a solid defined 4.
I used to have 6. like a long time ago.
I'm glad you have 4.
But I didn't have 6 because I worked out. I had just 6 was its genetics. I'm just like, I come from a long line of people fleeing from places. We had to flee fast. I'd flee from Russia, from Poland, from Germany. We were just fleeing constantly. And to flee, you have to have a tight core. I didn't do anything. I'm just a fleer.
That's so sad.
Yeah. It is sad.
Okay, Brittany says she likes Tyler so much, and he says, I like you too. She says she's confused, and he says, quote, yeah, I feel you on that one. Mm-hmm. And Andy, here you said, I think I'm breaking up with Brittany.
Done.
They continue to say absolutely nothing together and finally make out.
Brittany's got bad taste. And I'm nothing against Tyler. I think Tyler has good quality. No, I know that's bad. Tyler has some good qualities. Nothing against
Tyler doesn't do anything wrong.
It's TV. Tyler may be a wonderful person.
Yes.
I have nothing against Tyler. I'm just saying on TV, I'm not a big fan.
Look, he just doesn't, he has no flavor. He has no flavor.
She goes for looks.
She cares about that extra set of abs.
She cares about that extra set of abs. And I expect more from her.
You were thrown off by her low voice. You thought it meant that she would be above caring about.
She's not above it.
Eight abs.
No, she's totally below it. She's on it. She wants that 8 abs. Does anyone have 10 abs? That's weird. Those like weird, crazy bodybuilders have 10 abs.
Like
where it's like that. It's like literally on your penis.
Yeah.
Like it's not there's not even an ab there. It's just like suddenly like the top of your penis has 2 abs.
Okay, I don't know if it's fair to say Brittany has bad taste. You know, in a way, they seem perfectly matched for each other. It's just, I agree. In terms of this, you know, pre-makeout, like, oh, we both like each other. This is the early stages. Like, I wanted more on the edge of my seat tension, more buildup. And instead, it was just like, I like you. I like you too. Yeah. Oh, I'm confused. Oh, I feel you on that. It's like, kiss. Oh, God, just kiss already.
Yeah, weak.
Okay, so cut to Shanae wandering around now. She's like, where are Brittany and Tyler? When she realizes that the 2 of them are missing, she is pissed. And now Jill and Serene talk to Adam about how messy this is going to be. This is Adam's purpose. He's like the guy friend.
Yeah.
And then they hear voices shouting from the room Shanae has entered. It seems to be the bedroom she shares with Genevieve. So it's the 2 of them talking. Genevieve thinks Shanae's jumping to conclusions. So she agrees to go out and try to find Tyler and Brittany to see if they actually are talking. And as she slinks around, Andy, you said she looks like the girl from The Ring.
I mean, does she not? Just from the back, though. Just from the back.
I've never seen The Ring, so I can't.
And by the way, the girl from The Ring from the back looks okay. Looks pretty good. It's not an insult.
She does find Brittany and Tyler making out now, and now says in a voiceover that at least Shanae has faithful Logan back at the beach, who would never, ever betray her, even though Shanae has made out with Tyler countless times now. Of course, cut to Logan and Kate kissing and embracing and agreeing that what they have trumps everything else. Lots of build up here. And that is the cliffhanger of episode 8, Andy. Did that come sooner than you thought?
It came a little later, actually.
Okay. Well, we get credits now. The guys are in the pool trying to jump and touch the lantern above.
That's hard to do.
Yeah,
that takes an enormous amount of quad strain.
It was cute. I kind of find it amusing when you see men doing really...
It's nice.
Like, it's not stupid. It's just like, no one's going to touch it, but they're all still trying.
I think men are at their best when they're just being silly together.
I agree. Lots of cute friendships there. Okay, so now episode 9. In the preview for the episode, we see Shanae yelling at Kate on the beach. And here I turned to you, Andy, and I asked if you wanted to see that. And you said, yeah. Well, because, you know, they feel well matched.
Yeah.
Like Shanae, you feel like a lot of people are like, I don't want to bother with that. But Kate.
Yeah. It's good.
Kate is like, okay, I'll take you on.
It's like Pacquiao Mayweather.
Which one's Pacquiao and which one's Mayweather?
Well, clearly... we know who Mayweather is.
Mayweather's Kate.
Yeah.
You think Shanae is Pacquiao?
Yeah.
The remaining newcomers have their individual intros now, and Adams is a banana boomerang, and you approved of this, Andy.
By the way, can we talk about boomerangs for a second?
How insane is a boomerang?
Let's talk about boomerangs.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think is the first great human invention.
The first? The boomerang is not a greater invention than the wheel.
The wheel was invented after the boomerang.
What?
The boomerang was invented like 50,000 years ago.
Are you serious?
People were barely cavemen when the boomerang was invented.
Did you Google boomerangs before
I did not. I know about the boomerang. I didn't Google boomerang.
Okay.
I've studied the boomerang.
Okay.
The boomerang was around before the wheel.
Okay.
And it was an amazing invention. Think about this. Everyone's like throwing rocks and spears and they're gone.
Yeah.
You have to have a whole giant pile of spears and rocks. But why not just have something that comes back to you?
But here's my issue. If a boomerang lands on the target you meant
That's
to hit.
killed. It's dead.
Yeah, but it doesn't come back to you.
Yeah, but the thing is dead.
Yeah, but okay, so
then
the point is that it comes back to you if it doesn't land.
Yeah, you're missing 99% of spears and rocks thrown, according to the studies that have been conducted. They're gone.
Okay.
They miss.
Okay.
What, you think these cavemen went out, they just threw one spear and right away, right in the head, done, they killed? No, most spears missed. And they're losing all these spears and rocks. And some guys like, wait a minute, let's get something that comes back to us that we can reuse. That guy was the Steve Jobs of the Stone Age. You know what? It's an insult to him to say he's Steve Jobs. He's Tesla.
I think you're giving Elon Musk too much credit by saying
he's Tesla, Nikolai Tesla.
So Logan in his ITM says that he's so confident in his and Kate's connection that he's prepared for the storm ahead. It's funny how everyone knows this will be a storm, but
not a hurricane.
Not a hurricane, but it is interesting to think that had Tyler not gone for Brittany, how different this would look.
Yeah.
If Brittany had different tastes.
Brittany.
At the resort, the ladies say they miss the beach and the waves and the breeze, which cues Jesse. Genevieve says that if Erin has formed a connection with someone else, she's leaving. I wrote, we'll believe it when we see it. Yeah, right.
She ain't leaving that beach.
The boy who cried wolf. Jesse says they are going back to the beach, but it's a very different beach.
Yeah,
dun,
black sand.
When he leaves, Genevieve says, why do you have to say that thing about the different beach? This is funny. Back at the beach, Kate says her money is on total chaos. Meanwhile, we hear Jacob tell Florence that he has to tell Jill she's not his person. Andy, you said that's the worst way to get turned down. You said that's like leaving a job without a new job.
Yeah, you're not even eligible for unemployment benefits.
Oh.
That's how much you want to leave that job.
The ladies return to the beach now. Erin immediately embraces Genevieve and they go chat. They talk about the other guys and she says she didn't give them the time of day and, quote, they asked me and I said I wouldn't go on a date. I thought the they here was interesting because at a glance it might be the other guys asked her, but I actually think it was the powers that be asked if she would go on a date and she said, no, don't even bother.
Yeah.
Because she didn't get a date card or anything.
No.
And we know that over these episodes, the date cards are strategic.
Mm-hmm.
Erin says the others explored their options, but he, being the angel he is, didn't even entertain it. He only thought about her. Yeah. He reveals he didn't go on any dates, and she starts crying with happiness. And of course, the previews showed this scene as being a negative.
We knew, but I called it.
You did? Okay, you and I told you so. You did call it.
Everyone called that.
Andy, you said here, imagine being that torn up over Erin.
Honestly, I gotta give credit where credit's due. Aaron's shown himself to be a decent guy. I feel bad about saying.
No,
that.
he is, but Erin, like, there's something so, I don't want to say rehearsed, but it does feel like he's doing this over. It doesn't feel like it's 100% sincere, but that's okay.
This is what I'm gonna say. I think there's gonna come a day in like 5 or 6 years when you can be this broken up over Aaron.
So all eyes are on Shanae now. Shanae in her ITM says that she's all in on Logan. She knows he's waiting for her. Meanwhile, Sarah's basically eating popcorn, waiting for everything to go down, and Kate says she's not concerned in the slightest. Shanae says she missed Logan. He asks if she met anyone else, and she says she went on a date with Tyler, but she really downplays this. She's like, oh yeah, it was just a date, but I mean, watching it was very different. He reveals he went on 2 dates.
I'll raise your Tyler date.
Yes, I went on 2 dates. He said there's someone who he feels heard and seen by and who he just needs to pursue. He says he wasn't sure how to navigate this because they had just begun to recover from the James saga. I thought this was very deftly.
Nice placement.
He is reminding her of what they had just gone through when she left.
Logan's been pretty good about taking a lot of shit and not dishing it back.
100%.
Yeah, finally, it's like, you know what? I've sort of redeemed myself here.
Yes.
You did a thing that's bad.
You did a thing and I felt
did
terrible.
A thing that's perfectly fine in retaliation
yes.
or, whatever, in response.
Yes, totally agree.
He's coming into his own. Logan is finally becoming Logan.
The Logan we've always known he could be.
Yeah.
He says the way they worked through it didn't feel healthy to him. And she asks why he didn't express that at the time. And he says it's hard not to see how that wouldn't be hurtful.
Yeah.
And he asks to give her a hug and she says no.
No. No hugs.
Shanae in her ITM talks about how horrible Kate is now. We see flashbacks of Kate calling her out at Women Tell All. And she says, and she sounds like a fucking man, so good luck.
I've never met a man who sounds like Kate.
This really rubbed me wrong. Just as someone with a low voice as well. And people would tag me in tweets where they said they were waiting for me to whip out my dick. I've said this before.
That's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just so, I just don't know why people make fun of people's voices.
But she doesn't even have a low voice.
She has a low voice.
Is it low?
It's low, but it's like, who cares? That doesn't mean she sounds like a man. It's just mean.
It just doesn't make any sense. It shows that she's a child.
Shanae is a child.
She's showing her true colors.
Yeah.
She's showing Shanae 1.0. The fact is 2.0 is only when everything's going her way.
That is so true. She's only able to be fun and fun-loving when she's the one in charge.
Yeah.
Shanae is generally upset and Kate goes and comforts Logan now. The group literally cheers while Logan and Kate make out now. And Logan in his ITM says he wants to show Kate off and hold her up like the little lion in The Lion King.
That's cute. And I know what he's feeling. I wanted to show you off too. Oh, what? Wow, nice.
What's that from?
I know it's from Lion King. You just said Lion King.
Okay. You sing any tune you want from The Lion King. Other than the one I just did.
I think I know this.
Okay, yeah, I think you do too. One of them is by Elton John.
Oh, I know this. Can you feel the love tonight?
Yes!
Oh, yes!
I'm so proud of you.
I'm sweating.
We hear Shanae talking about how Kate is 33. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Oh, yeah. Oh, because it's about how Kate, does she really want to go with a much younger guy? And she says, I'm not crying because I'm upset. I'm just mad. This is while Genevieve is like wiping a tear away.
Yeah.
She can't even admit she's upset. This is very childish.
She's a child. But not in a bad way. She's just a child. It's nice. Children are great. Think about the children.
Andy, you said, this is the girl who was cock-blocked out of fucking someone 3 nights ago. 3 nights, by the way, is being optimistic. It's more likely it was 2 nights ago.
Am I wrong? She has no right to be pissed off. She could be sad. She definitely can be sad.
Yeah.
And she should be sad. But
she
should not be pissed off.
You're right. She says, I'm not crying because I'm upset. That's the one thing she can be.
It's the only thing she can be.
She says, I'm mad, but she's not allowed to be mad. She was
mad? No, how many guys has she made out with?
Yeah.
One in front of Logan.
Yeah. Shanae storms over to Logan and Kate now. Everyone's scrambling to watch, which was hilarious.
It's amazing.
And Michael says, Ohio women throw hands.
Michael knows Ohio women. He knows their fighting techniques. Is he from Ohio?
I don't know. I actually don't know that.
Yeah, I don't think he is from Ohio, which makes it even weirder that he knows how Ohio women fight. I've never heard that Ohio women are prone to fighting more than other.
Also, that's quite the umbrella statement. But yeah. I will say it did seem like Shanae had the potential to do this. Yeah. She pulls Logan to talk again while the audience watches from above. Shanae says she's pissed that they were near her while they were kissing and stuff. It was disrespectful. She accuses him of not bringing his concerns to her attention. And he says, maybe he did, but they weren't heard.
Ah.
This is a great comeback. Aaron in his ITM is very Team Logan because they're friends, because they leapt up for the lantern together and stuff like that.
Now they're friends.
That kind of stuff bonds men.
That's it. That's all it takes.
He says, quote, Shanae needs to go back to the drawing board in terms of personality.
Biggest diss in the history of Bachelor in Paradise.
Good. I will say, just slightly in Shanae's defense here, I did find it surprising that Logan and Kate would cozy up to each other within eye shot of
But it's not
Shanae.
that easy not to do it. Like, there aren't that many safe places. You gotta, the moment happens and it happens where it happens. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be like, oh, we gotta watch out. We're triangulated with Shanae. Like, you just do what you gotta do.
Shanae in her ITM calls Kate disgusting and Logan gutter trash. And Andy, you said she has issues with rejection. And Kate in her ITM says that if her guy chose me over Shanae, then he was never her guy to begin with. You and I could not have agreed with this more wholeheartedly. Truth right there. So Andy, did you know that there are 30 million women who are impacted by weakened or thinning hair?
30 million?
30 million, 30. That's a lot.
Wow. Is that that's like 1 out of 5 women-ish?
You know, it's a big part of your self-esteem. And I know that, into my 30s, my hair is not as thick as it used to be. And that's why I'm such a big fan of Nutrafol. You're also a big fan. Actually, you've been using Nutrafol longer than I have.
Yeah.
You sort of turned me on it.
I'm a veteran.
Ironically. You are a veteran.
And, and some people may look at me and say, why are you taking Nutrafol? And it's a little shameful. But I'm taking it because I know that I had a very thick head of hair.
Yeah.
As a young man. And I would like to try to stay there.
Yeah.
It's all relative, right?
Totally. A lot of people today might be like, oh, like, shut up. You don't have hair thickness issues. But I know what it once was. And why wouldn't you just do what you could to keep it as thick as possible?
Right. And what's the downside? You're basically taking a vitamin pill.
And Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth by targeting the 5 root causes of hair thinning. And they are stress, metabolism, environment,
hormones, and nutrition.
Yes. So you can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering promo code Shandy to save $15 off your first month's subscription.
This is their best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time.
Plus free shipping on every order. Again, that's Nutrafol.com, Nutrafol.com, promo code Shandy. So Andy, I am a sale hound.
You're a sale attack dog.
I am. I just really want to get the best deal possible, whether it's using a promo code or waiting for the right deal to come around. And that's why I'm a big fan of Upside, because you're basically getting paid to shop. Every time you spend money, you earn money.
Upside's an app for anyone who buys gas, groceries, or eats out.
Yeah.
Basically a human.
Yes. And this matters right now because prices are very inflated. And so it's nice to get a bit of cash back when you are spending money on those things. Like, I am blown away by how much things cost right now. It's noticeable.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you want to be rewarded for spending money. It just helps.
Yeah, it's basically knocking a little bit off inflation.
Yes. So basically, you can claim an offer for whatever you're buying on Upside. So you check into that business and then pay as usual as you would, and then you get paid.
In comparison to credit card rewards and loyalty programs, you can earn 3 times more cash back with Upside.
So much so that Upside users are earning more than $1 million every week.
Ooh. So download the free Upside app and use promo code Shandy to get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more.
Again, that's $5 or more off your first purchase of $10 or more with the free Upside app using promo code Shandy. Kate finds Shanae on the beach now and tries to find common ground. This is a very exciting moment. Actually, I'm not going to lie. I was really looking forward to this.
Yeah, Mayweather-Pacquiao.
Shanae tries to pick the battle about the proximity of Kate and Logan talking, and Kate says, hey, your conversation with Logan was over. Which, Kate says she doesn't appreciate Shanae talking shit about her, which I think is right. Shanae says Kate talked shit about her at Women Tell All. And Kate says that was a different landscape and a different season. And Shanae doesn't really have a comeback for this.
No.
She starts to try to walk away, and Kate says she really wants to believe people can change. And then Shanae's just like, nah, I'm out. And I thought it was interesting how confrontational Shanae is, she actually was not able to handle this conflict.
She was outmatched.
It felt that way. It felt like she realized that Kate had a well thought out rebuttal for every complaint she had. And she was just grasping at straws.
She didn't have the skills. She didn't have the ring generalship, as they say in boxing.
The what?
The ring generalship.
Generalship? That's
actually there's several judging criteria in boxing when you judge a fight. And one is ring generalship. And it's just like this sort of
control.
Yeah, just like who's in control. When you look at the fight, you're like, that guy's the guy.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what Kate was. She was the Mayweather.
Oh, it's such a good point. It really felt like Kate was just better at this. I don't know how else to put it. It felt like no matter what Shanae said, Kate was going to have a better articulated comeback. And Shanae realized that and was just like, okay, well, I'm above this. I'm leaving.
I think Kate is really smart.
Kate is really smart.
Yeah.
Kate in her ITM relishes this victory. I kind of like this about Kate, is that she could be like, but she's like, I'm not above admitting that, Shanae really sucked in my season, and I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed this.
Like a fine old red wine.
It made her very human that she could admit it, even though it wasn't as flattering as her being like, I tried to find common ground.
And that's what we want to see in the end too, right?
Yes. She gives the people what they want.
Yes, Kate. She does.
So the focus now moves over to Jacob. As Jacob stretches, we hear him say he hopes Jill found someone else. And Andy, you said, great sign when you hope your girlfriend met someone else. We get a flashback to Jill with her crystals. And Andy, here you said, it makes me happy when people's crystals don't work out.
Crystal people will say, oh, she used the wrong crystals.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, it should have been the blue crystals. Do you know who disagrees with crystals doing anything more than anybody? Who? Is actual crystals. The crystal is just like, I'm literally a rock. I'm a pretty rock.
A very pretty rock.
Yeah, I rock. That's all I do. I rock day and night. I was born to rock. I don't do anything else. Respect me for what I am.
Stop trying to make me more than I am.
I just rock.
Jill reveals she struggled to even talk to the other guys or to make connections, and Jacob looks crestfallen by this information. Yeah. He says, okay.
See, this is true comedy. Comedy is tragedy.
Yes.
There's no comedy without some tragedy. Yeah. Otherwise, it's hack. Mm-hmm. And what's funnier than the look on Jacob's face when he realizes that Jill didn't find anybody else?
He says that he made a connection with Kate and, quote, to be honest, I kissed her. Watching everyone downplay, they made out so hard. She was straddling him in the hot tub, but he kissed her. Oh, yeah. He says what he had with Kate was stronger. Not that what he and Jill had wasn't strong.
No, it was strongish.
He says it was a signal that this wasn't right for him. And she cries and says it sucks. And she spent days just crying in bed. But at least she has clarity now. She says she's going to go. And I said, oh, that's a pretty good reaction. Sure. And Andy, you said, there's more coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Jacob in his ITM calls this the worst feeling of his life.
Wow, he's had an easy life.
And as she hugs everyone goodbye, Andy, you said, I'll miss you the most, Scarecrow. Jill in her car. You like that one? That line one. Of yours?
Yeah, it was appropriate.
Jill in her car home now says, quote, a Lyft driver broke my heart. He sold his couch for cash and I'm crying over him.
Wow. Unquote. Now that is a country song. What was the line? It was like, a Lyft driver broke my heart.
Yeah, but I didn't like this because it was mean. Like, what's wrong with
Oh, it's totally mean.
It's super mean.
Just with your Lyft driver, you're like, what is she calling him? Trash?
Yeah,
That's
she's
terrible.
like acting like he's beneath her. How dare he? He drives a Lyft. How is he breaking my heart?
Yeah.
Get over yourself. I didn't like this. This was a bad final look on Jill. And I understand she was rejected and therefore, the same way that Shanae called Kate disgusting and Logan gutter trash or whatever. This was Jill doing that, but it just felt very pointed to be like he sold his couch for cash. Like,
yeah,
people sell things for money sometimes. Like, not everyone is swimming in money all the time. I just thought this was really mean.
I agree.
It got to me.
I still think it's a country song. A Lyft driver broke my heart. That's got to be a country song. All right, ready? I got this. Okay. I'm going to do this.
All right.
Okay. He sold his car for cash. Now I'm crying over him. I never thought I'd say this, but a Lyft driver broke my heart. Is that no good?
Yeah, I guess I can't find it as funny as I should because I just think it's not a nice thing to say.
Can you separate your feelings and the quality of my song?
Excellent song, Andy. I think that fits in with any country song out there. That song you just made up on the spot.
Thank you.
Back at the resort, Tyler, Alex, and Adam will be joining the beach soon. Alex reveals Victoria wanted to have a conversation with Johnny before exploring things further, which we thought was very impressive restraint on her part. So she and Alex never consummated their connection with a makeout. And Tyler seems to be in a similar situation with Brittany, meanwhile, except they did make out. Brittany returns to the beach now looking all goth chic in her glorious black set.
Yeah, she looked good.
I was very into this
Didn't change my mind. Still broken up.
Okay. Didn't change my mind.
Yeah,
you really have lost
Not crawling back.
Oof, okay.
We're friends, though. We're friends.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still friends.
Brittany and Andrew catch up and there's a very platonic vibe here, immediately.
Yeah.
They reveal each other's dates and respective connections, and this wraps with a friendly hug and it's peaceful all around. I mean, I'm not surprised by this, I guess. We never really saw the romantic connection with the two of them. And it actually tracks, the fact that Andrew didn't get upset about her.
No one cares.
No one talked
Neither of them care.
Yeah, about Peter talking shit about her, though. I mean, he didn't.
It's true. He wasn't invested. Neither of them were invested in this thing.
Yes. So cut now to Serene and Victoria riding over. And this is where we observed that Serene was in this car But earlier she was shown hugging Jill goodbye. So this whole thing was aired out of order, a ton. We get our slow-mo embraces between Brandon and Serene and Johnny and Victoria. And Serene says it was so hard being away that she was literally losing her mind.
Nope.
That sounds scary. To literally lose your mind?
That means that you misplaced it. That's what that means.
Brandon says he realized he loves her, and she says she loves him too, and they make out. And once again, we agreed, Andy, that they are made for each other.
That's it.
That's
done.
It. Johnny is adorably excited about having Victoria back. Meanwhile, he's clearly tempering his smiles and enthusiasm, but this is as excited as Johnny gets.
Yeah.
He reminds me of a guy I dated once, a guy that never smiled with his teeth.
Oh, yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
He's a lovely person.
Yeah.
But it was almost like you said, the coolest guy in college.
You're right. He never smiles with his teeth.
Yes. It was almost like it revealed too much.
Yeah. Too vulnerable.
Yes. And one of the things I love so much about you is how expressive you are. When you're down, it shows. When you're happy, it shows.
Oh,
you're just your face is just so open. And yeah, Johnny just reminds me of this guy I dated. It's like he's excited about Victoria, but first he wants to hear if she's also excited about him before he shows his teeth.
He's also cool like the guy you dated.
Yes.
Both
very similar
cool.
vibes. Yeah.
Super cool
And that
guys.
guy, I will add, was the only guy like that I've ever dated. Because I don't normally go for guys like this.
Yeah.
I don't go for cool guys.
He is super cool.
I like guys that are cool in their weirdness.
I know what you mean. Yeah, that's true. I think he was the guy we're talking about. We both know.
Yeah.
Was the coolest guy you've ever dated.
Okay, well, Victoria says, first we got ripped out and then we had to go back to Vedanta. So this kind of gives us a bit of background that it seems that might be the hotel that they all stay in before they go to Paradise.
Yeah, that got a weak plug. Vedanta must have been like giving them like $1,000. It's like, nah, we're not paying up.
He's trying to play it so cool, but his nerves are showing here. And Victoria reveals that she had a date on the last day and took Alex. And she says he checks a lot of boxes. And he's like, I want you to explain that boxes thing.
Yeah.
And she brings it back to the age thing. She wants to start a family soon. And things get very tense very quickly. And he says, she was the one who said, don't explore. And he leaves now. I'm over-exaggerating. Oh, there's no such thing as over-exaggerating.
No, there isn't.
I'm just exaggerating.
Yes.
But in general, he doesn't take this super well. And he just sort of leaves in a huff.
Yeah.
And Johnny and Logan briefly chat before Victoria finds him and is like, can we please talk some more? It almost feels a little mothery. It's like, okay.
It feels parenty.
Yeah, are you done with your episode?
Well, that's the thing. Victoria is the adult. Johnny, no disrespect to Johnny.
No.
Johnny's still young. He's having fun.
We like Johnny.
He's a young guy.
Yes.
He's having a fun young time.
A fun young time
And Victoria's
on his yacht.
ready.
He has many more sunsets to watch on his yacht.
Yes, I don't want him to be an adult yet.
Actually, I don't know if there's a yacht. It's just a boat. I don't know the
It's
difference.
a boat. It's a yacht boat. It's a very small yacht or a big boat.
What makes a yacht a yacht?
It's a great question. I think a yacht is big enough that you could sleep in it. Like comfortably. Like you could sleep in a rowboat, but you're an animal. I mean, no one wants to sleep in a rowboat. You want to sleep where it's like an actual bed.
Okay.
I think a yacht is big enough to have a bed in it. That's what a yacht is.
Yeah, but you could have a boat with a bed in it. It's not a yacht.
No, I think a boat with a bed is a yacht.
I have a feeling the Shandies are going to be like, oh dear. Let me explain.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the size.
What
It's
makes
the
a
size.
pond a lake? What makes a lake a pond? We didn't get a totally good answer on that.
So Victoria and Johnny talk, take two. She says it's a lot for her too. Let's talk through it step by step. In general, Victoria handles this like an adult. She's very reasonable.
Yeah.
He says he hates the list thing. He says he didn't have to pull out any list. He knows how he feels about her. And she says he's so much more than a checklist. She's sorry for saying that. She wants to have kids soon though. And she wants to start a family. She handles this so well.
Yeah.
I love how she even acknowledged that. She's like, I'm sorry for mentioning the checklist. It's not how I feel about you. You're so much more than that. I didn't mean it like that.
Very adult.
Unbelievably
Victoria
so.
is a full-grown adult.
Villain to hero.
Yep.
She says he wasn't open to being engaged when they talked about this before. And she says that's fine. But when she took a step back, she wondered if she was being blind to everything he had told her and that he just wasn't ready. I thought this was 100% true.
Yeah.
And so many people and women especially find themselves in that position.
Yeah.
Where it's like, at what point am I being cool with it? And like, you take your time, you want to make sure we're on the same page and all that, versus you're just telling me that you're not ready all this time and I'm not listening to it.
Right.
I thought she did this so well.
I agree.
His counter argument to this is, don't you think you should fall in love with somebody before setting up a life together?
I mean, he's right, theoretically.
He's right, of course. Like, it's just so obvious. It didn't need to be said. That's not a rebuttal to what she just said.
Right.
She's asking for a little bit of assurance that it's not just, we're not just having fun.
It's like a guy starting a restaurant, and in the kitchen, it's like rats, cockroaches are running rampant. There's like a literal monkey cooking the food. And the guy serves him, here's a couple of samples of our food. He tastes it. This is very good food. He's like, well, that's great. Then you should love the restaurant. You should invest. You like the food.
Yeah.
But no, it's not just about the food.
Yeah, you're going to get a C. A C rating?
A C rating. Yeah, a D.
By the way, we've stopped going to restaurants because of those.
I mean, I feel like this is what I feel about the ratings. When you see the ratings in the window.
Yeah.
Like, there's people paying them off.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, it's basically, if you get a C rating, that means the inspector was like, yeah, you can pay me off, but I can't even take a payment to give you more than a C. I'm sorry. Like, you're not even at the bride level.
So what you're saying is a C is really an E.
A C is like an F.
Oh.
Yeah. A B is where the guy was like, you're really a C, but if you give me like a few $100, I'll give you. So let's just talk, we'll deal with this.
Okay. So you think an A is a B is a C, and a C is an F?
Yeah. I think if you get a C, it's a total F.
Okay.
That means it was at a zoo in the kitchen.
I've worked at restaurants in my day. And when I was in college, I worked at a restaurant in New York. And I remember when the health inspector would come in, it was like, and one of the things that people rushed to do was to put the butter packets in the fridge because they'd been out so that they were room temperature, so they were soft, because everyone likes soft butter.
Everyone. Can we talk about that? I've gone to a good restaurant where it's like, oh, this is a nice restaurant. Yeah. Really nice. Like, this is going to be a good place.
And then you get a rock hard.
They lay down a rock hard butter. I'm done.
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be better.
I don't know if times have changed since then, but I remember thinking this is wrong. The butter should be soft. There's
not a single restaurant in America that serves rock hard butter that has very good food. They may have fine food, but it's not very good. Respect butter.
Victoria asks if he's ready to have kids, what his career goals are. He gets defensive at this. He says he's motivated. But if that is what she's looking for someone established, then he's out. I thought he was acting a little childish here. I don't want to go too hard because he wasn't that bad.
But he's also 26. I honestly, at 26, I'm reacting the same way.
Yeah, at the time, Andy, you said, when I was young and immature, I would have acted the same way. Who cares about the boxes? We have love. Fuck you.
Yeah, you're romantic. You're idealistic. 26, you're not really a full adult yet. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't fault Johnny for this line. I just think that he is inherently wrong, but not for his age.
I don't want to say that Johnny's wrong because, he's 26, he's young, he's probably starting his career, and it's tough. I think it's tough, especially for a guy to have to compete with an older man who maybe, they keep talking about Alex, who's so established. Like, Alex's wealth keeps being alluded to. And I don't know, but I can imagine if you were a 26-year-old guy who's trying to make it in the world.
I'd be pissed off.
Yeah, it would be annoying to be compared to that. But at the same time,
he should respect the dialogue. He shouldn't fight back, but I don't fault him. He's both right and wrong, and he's all right.
Well, but Victoria is also incredibly right. Like, I don't think she's wrong to be like, what are your career aspirations? Like, as a woman, you want to know that, oh my God, it's like that. What were we watching last night? It was the
Sea Wolf Island.
Yes. Okay. So in it, the bald eagle.
With the crab?
Yeah. So what about the crab?
Oh my God, the scene with the bald eagle and the crab? That was the most amazing thing. That was amazing.
Yes, but there are two bald eagles, and before the female bald eagle mates with the male, first he has to fly around for ages bringing her tasty treats.
Yeah.
He has to bring her food
totally reasonable.
For a long period of time, and then she's like, okay, you can fuck me.
Yeah.
And then they have sex, and then...
I wouldn't call it fucking. It was more like, we're talking like half a second.
It was really fast.
It was like, fuck.
And they showed it too.
Yeah.
I think watching birds have sex is amazing.
It's so fast.
It's so fast. And like, there's all these feathers. Like,
where's
how do you know where it goes?
penetration?
It's pure instinct.
I don't understand where the penetration happens.
I'm amazed by that.
It's so fast. And there's a distance. It doesn't seem like that they connect.
I agree. Okay, but in it, the female finally allows this to happen after he has auditioned with food.
Yeah.
And then she has to sit there. It'll be another 10 days before she lays eggs.
Eggs. That's what they do.
I know. And during those 10 days, he goes and feeds her. He goes and gets food. So he has to pretty much prove that he can provide. And look, I'm not making this about like the man providing for the woman and all that stuff, but I just think that this is very real life. She's like, we can't pay the bills with love.
I agree. She's actually thinking really far down the line.
Yes,
she's being
it
very
shows how seriously
she's
taking this.
I honestly, again, at 26, I'm not having this. I'm with Johnny.
Okay.
At 36, I engage and I respect the conversation.
Okay, well,
that's all I'm saying.
As a woman, I respect that Victoria's like,
I agree.
What does this look like outside of here? What are your...
From her perspective, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
She's absolutely in the right to be...
This is one of those situations where they're both a little right. She's a little more right.
Yeah. I can't hate on Johnny.
No,
Johnny's Johnny.
He doesn't deserve to be hated on because he doesn't handle this terribly. He just acts a little young. Like he gets really defensive at every turn. And I think she handles this really well. She's like, let's talk about this step by step. She apologizes for talking about a checklist. She's very mature in how she handles this. And it feels more like he's like, well, if that's what you want, I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little immature, but it's also... And it's okay. Again, it's okay.
Yeah, because he's young. He's allowed to be young.
He's young.
Okay, so Victoria warns Johnny now that Alex is coming.
Uh-oh.
Alex is coming. I don't know why that sounds funny.
It's not funny.
And he says that if she has to explore that with him, do it, but let him go. He says, quote, if I'm not with you, I'm out of here. And in general, I wrote, I'm very impressed with how she's handling this conversation.
Yeah.
She's like a different person than on Peter's season. Okay, so now it's the evening and the new guys arrive. Johnny in his ITM says that he's upset and feels sick. And it's the first time I realize that he hasn't been through this.
No.
He hasn't been through
Easy
this.
Street.
He did it to Hunter.
Yeah.
That first rose ceremony. He chose
and he
Victoria.
did it, and he didn't do it to Gabby, but he's been breaking hearts. His turn has come.
Yeah. It's kind of fun. It sounds mean and sick, but it is sort of fun to watch someone who clearly has broken hearts have to navigate this.
Well, it's like watching a great champion get beat. It's sad, but it's also amazing. You're like, wow, everyone can get beat. There's always someone better.
Brittany and Tyler talk. She basically says she's single now and they make out. Brittany in her ITM says that Tyler is who she's been waiting for. And now they go to the bar and Jasenia out of nowhere is like, hey, Tyler, want to go chat? And Brittany in her ITM says that it feels malicious. You thought that Jasenia was looking for screen time.
100%.
This was a strange choice on Jasenia's part.
Yeah. Who
like
knows?
Maybe she knows.
With editing, you never know.
Yeah,
maybe they had some prior thing. Whatever.
I don't really care that much.
I don't care either.
Okay, we'll move on.
I care about nothing. I care about less.
Well, the only thing I care about is Victoria's ever exciting and incredibly attractive love triangle, I wrote.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is some love triangle.
Oh, so sweet.
Victoria, Johnny, and Alex. Whew.
Oof.
Huh.
Oh, dear. Oh, my heavens.
Alex pulls Victoria to chat and Johnny's struggling. Meanwhile, Alex tells Victoria he's still very excited about her. She says she's confused. Michael, meanwhile, talks about... Michael's narrating again. He talks about how Alex is tall, dark, and handsome, and wealthy. And how he could provide everything Victoria could possibly want. And that's the cliffhanger. We're being sold how wealthy Alex is.
But Michael's basically calling Victoria a gold digger.
It's so strange that they keep talking about Alex's... I mean, maybe it's not strange. Like, it is realistic. Like, if you think real life, this would be a factor in his being a catch.
The original Bachelor was wealthy. Wasn't it Firestone?
Andrew Firestone
Andrew,
was from the Firestone.
But originally in the franchise, I feel like the Bachelor had to be kind of tall, good looking, and kind of successful. Yeah. And then it just became whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough because I feel for guys, especially young guys in this situation, but to me, I guess I get a sick kind of thrill out of watching things like wealth and success outside of this show and outside of Instagram being discussed because it is realistic.
Yeah,
it is something people are going to talk about. It is a selling point.
You got it in two ways on this episode. You got Jill ripping on a guy for being a Lyft driver.
Yeah.
And you have everyone talking about how wealthy Alex is and how, great that should be.
Great that should be. Okay, so that is the cliffhanger, the end of episode 9, and that brings us to our credits, which is pretty much Logan and Kate joking about her toes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so next, Andy, your A game. Do you have an A game winner this week? You did not have one last week.
I do. Kate, all around A game.
Okay.
Yeah, everything.
I do feel like anyone Kate sets her sights on, she could have.
Yeah.
She's very savvy. Okay.
Victoria is sort of a close second because I thought Victoria, it's not really game. It's just like Victoria was an adult, but Kate was a gamesman.
Yes. Okay, I agree with that. And that brings us now to our word watch. There were 0 hurricanes, Andy. Kind of surprising.
Close. There was a lot of talk about storms.
Yes.
But not hurricane.
No hurricanes.
And tornado.
Yes. There were 110 correct guesses. And our winner, the grand prize winner of $100 to Frankly Apparel, goes to Woodland, or perhaps Woodline.
On YouTube.
Congratulations. You are the winner. Please email us or DM us by this Friday at midnight to claim your prize. And Andy, do you have a word for next week?
Engagement.
Ooh. So that'll be episodes 10 and 11. If you would like to join in the Dear Shandy Word Watch fun and have a chance to win $185 in Feels CBD tincture.
That's a lot of tincture.
Yes, and this is like designer CBD, by the way.
How much tincture do you want?
This is good CBD.
It's good.
We're big Feels fans. We have been for a long time. It helps me sleep. You say that it helps you feel more grounded.
My mom.
Oh, yeah. Your mom's a
who
big fan
doesn't
now.
accept any help for anything. Finally took some of this stuff and she's like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I want more. She wants more.
So you have a chance to win $185 in Feels CBD by guessing correctly the number of times the word engagement is uttered in episodes 10 and 11. You must do so by this Friday at midnight. You must use the numeral, do not write out the word, and you must include either word watch or engagement in your comment. And if you guess correctly, you will be entered in a pile of semi-winners, and one name will be drawn just like Woodlands or Woodlines was, and that person will win the grand prize of $185 in Feels CBD. And finally, Andy, who would we go for?
Well, sadly, my relationship with Brittany is over.
Is it sad?
It is sad. We had a good time. We really did.
If I'm honest, that went on longer than I thought it would.
You're judging my relationship with Brittany. But I'm 100% with Kate now.
I fully can see that.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's
Okay.
funny. She's smart. She's quick. There's good banter. She gets it.
She has more examples of a bear shitting in the woods.
Yes. I was won over by that. I like Kate.
Okay.
Big fan.
I fully support that and would have guessed that. She's exactly the type.
I would have guessed that. You would have guessed that.
Okay. So for me, it's pretty slim pickings. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm not into Michael anymore. Nothing against him, but I just,
Yeah, I get it.
He's too first class to be
packaged. He feels packaged.
Yeah, it does feel packaged. And Casey was the one that I really liked. And now he's gone.
He's on the
DL. Do I have to pick someone?
Come on, just pick the guy you want to pick. Pick the guy.
Adam?
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about him.
Does it matter? Isn't that the best way to be with Adam?
I mean, I've been told by our Shandies that he's a geologist.
What more do you need to know?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll go for Adam, even though we've seen really nothing of him. But I like that he can be a platonic friend to these women. He can have conversations with them that don't involve him trying to hit on them. And he's a geologist and he looks the way he does. So, okay, Adam.
I think those are great reasons.
Okay. All right, Andy, that's a wrap then for this recap.
Yeah.
I really can't wait to get to the end of these two-nighters.
Yeah, this is really intense.
This is grueling.
4 hours.
Yeah. You should have sympathy for your recappers out there because this is really grueling stuff. I'm pooped. If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on
Instagram
and TikTok, leave us
iTunes
and Spotify podcast ratings and reviews, and generally do all of the things that you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye. Dear Shandy.